to the audiobook of New Social Studies, Grade 10. Unit 6, Lesson 1, page number 164. Climates of the World. Weather and climate. The state of atmosphere at a given place and time with regard to temperature, cloudiness, rainfall, wind and other meteorological condition is called weather. Spelling of meteorological: meteorological. Cloudy, rainy, windy, sunny, etc. are the examples of weather condition. Climate is the average weather conditions prevailing in an area in general or over a long period. From the climate, we can know the condition of the temperature, rainfall, wind, and pressure of a particular place in various seasons. Weather describes the short-term state of the atmosphere, whereas the climate describes the average pattern of weather for a particular region. Factors affecting climates. The climate is not same all over the world. We experience different climates like hot, warm, humid, dry, etc. in different places or region. There are some factors affecting climate that cause the difference in climate. A short description of each factor has been presented below. Here we have a diagram of factors affecting climate, which are ocean current, altitude, distance from sea, nature of wind, slope of land, natural vegetation, presence of mountain, latitude, soil. Number 1, latitude. Due to the latitudinal extension or distance from the equator, the climate differs in different places. The places near to the equator or with lower latitude experiences hot climate, whereas the places farther from the equator or with higher latitude experiences cold climate. It is because the sun rays fall straight to the equatorial region but slanting towards the polar region. The straight sun rays cause more heat than slanting sun rays because the straight sun rays concentrate at a place, but the slanting rays scatter in a large area and have to travel through the thick atmosphere. Thus, it is hot in equatorial region and cold in polar region. For example, it is hotter in Sri Lanka than Nepal, because Sri Lanka lies closer to equator than Nepal. Number 2, altitude. It is hot at lower altitude and cold at higher altitude. At lower altitude, density of atmosphere is thicker as it contains more amount of dust particles and water vapor, but at higher altitude it is thinner and it contains less amounts of dust particle and water vapor. The thicker atmosphere absorbs more heat than thinner atmosphere. In each 165 meter altitude, temperature differs by 1 degree Celsius. Because of this reason, it is hotter in Nepalganj than Biratnagar. Number 3, distance from sea. The nature of land and sea is different. The land heats and cools down faster than sea, and sea takes more time to heat and cool down than land. During summer, it is hot on land, but the sea is still cold. Similarly, during winter, it is cold on land, but the sea is still hot. Due to such phenomenon, the places near to sea experience mild climate, means neither too hot nor too cold. But the places farther from the sea experience extreme climate, means hot in summer and cold in winter. For example, Mumbai experiences mild climate because there is influence of sea, but Banaras experiences extreme climate because there is no influence of sea. Number 4, slope of land. Windward slope receives more rainfall than leeward slope. Spelling of windward, Windward, and spelling of leeward, Leeward. Likewise, if the slope is towards the equator, it is warmer, but if the slope is towards the poles, it is cooler. The climate of windward slope is humid, whereas the climate of leeward slope is dry. Nepal's climate is humid as it lies on windward slope of the Himalayas, but climate of Tibet is dry as it lies on leeward slope of the Himalayas. Being situated on leeward slope, Manang and Mustang remain dry and cold throughout the year. Number 5. Presence of mountain. It also affects the climate very much. The mountain blocks the wind and causes difference in climate from one side to another. If the mountain blocks the rain-bearing wind, the other side of the mountain remains dry. It is because of the presence of Himalayas, the air containing water vapor coming from Bay of Bengal cannot reach to Tibet. So Tibetan region is dry. Northern part of Himalayas of Nepal also remains dry. Number 6. Nature of wind. The wind blowing from the sea contains water vapor. It causes enough rainfall and makes the climate mild. But the wind blowing from land is dry. It causes less rainfall and makes the climate extreme. Likewise, the wind blowing from tropical zone increases hotness and blowing from polar zone increases coldness. Summer monsoon blowing from sea to land causes enough rainfall in Nepal during summer, but the winter monsoon blowing from land is dry and causes dryness in Nepal during winter. Number 7. Ocean current. Ocean current affects the climate of the coastal region. If warm ocean current passes through it, it makes the climate warm, and if cold ocean current passes through it, it causes cold climate in coastal region. Warm ocean current leads to rainfall as it contains water vapor, but cold ocean current leads dryness in coastal region. There is warm and wet climate in the eastern coastal region of the US because the warm ocean current passes through it. Likewise, the western coastal region of the US experiences dry and cold climate because the cold ocean current passes through it. Number 8. Vegetation. Though the vegetation is a product of the climate, later on it affects the local climate. The places with vegetation and forests are relatively wet and cold, but the places with no vegetation have dry climate. Number 9. Soil. The quality of soil also affects the climate. There is dry and extreme climate in area of rock and sand. The areas with alluvial soil, spelling of alluvial, Alluvial. So the areas with alluvial soil are not that much dry and extreme. On the other hand, the area with black soil is warm and with white soil is cold. Climatic zones. On the basis of latitudinal extension, the heat of sun and air pressure, there are 3 climatic zones on both hemispheres of the earth. Types of climate. Various types of climate are found in the different parts of the world. There are altogether 13 types of climate found in the world. 12 of them are based on the latitudinal extension, and 1 is based on altitude. They are as presented below. In tropical zone, number 1, equatorial climate. Number 2, tropical grassland climate and Sudan climate. Number 3, tropical desert climate. Number 4, tropical monsoon climate. In temperate zone, number 5, Mediterranean climate. Number 6, China type of climate. Number 7, temperate desert climate. Number 8, cool temperate oceanic climate. Number 9, St. Lawrence or Manchurian climate. Number 10, temperate grassland climate. 11, cold temperature climate or coniferous climate. In frigid zone, 12, tundra climate or polar climate. In high mountain, number 13, alpine climate or high mountainous climate. The above chart clarifies the direction, area, and extension of the climate in northern hemisphere of the earth. Climatic region. A region throughout the year which has roughly the same climate is called climatic region. For example, the region where equatorial climate is found is called equatorial climate region. Activities, page number 168. Number 1. Prepare a chart showing the latitudinal extension of climate on the Earth's surface and paste on the wall of your class. Number 2. Note down the characteristics of the climate found in your area. Number 3. Climatic zones are determined on the basis of latitudinal extension. Draw a figure and show the climatic zones of the Earth. Exercise, short answer questions. Number 1. How does the distance from sea affect the climate? Give region with example. Number 2. There is wet climate on the windward slope. Justify the statement with example. Number 3. Do you agree that the soil affects the climate? Present your logics. Number 4. Give geographical regions for the following statement. A. It is hotter in Sri Lanka than Nepal. B. It is hotter in Nepalganj than Biratnagar. Number C. Mumbai experiences mild climate while Banaras experiences extreme climate. Number D. Manang and Mustang remain dry and cold throughout the year. 5. Define the following terms. A. Weather. B. Climate. C. Climatic region. D. Climatic zones. E. Extreme climate. F. Rain shadow area. Long answer questions. Number 1. Make a list of the factors affecting climate and explain any 3 of them. 2. How many types of climates are found in the world and on what basis? Make a list of them. Community work. Discuss with the people who have experienced the climate of the bottom and top of the mountain. Find the difference between the climate found at the bottom and top of the mountain. This is the end of Unit 6, Lesson 1. This podcast is dedicated to visually impaired students. So if you know anybody who needs this book to listen and learn, please share the link and also please subscribe the channel. Thank you and all the best.